All-time program rankings. Let's get down to business here at the Voice of College Football. Please like the video. Share these videos out on social media. There are folks that you come into contact with each and every day that have no idea that we are here to discuss, debate, and analyze college football every day with you. And, of course, subscribe to the Voice of College Football and our 25 team channels as well. In recent weeks, we've been discussing on our call-in shows all-time program rankings and what should be taken into consideration, and at what point in college football history should we start analyzing programs. The first game was played in 1869. Should we count them all? All right. Here's the criteria that we've come up with based on your help and support. Number one factor, winning percentage. That trumps everything. That is by far the biggest indicator of success in college football. Winning percentage over time. Think about it. It's the one statistic that cannot be screwed up in any particular way. It is completely objective. Can't be manipulated in any such way. Not all-time wins, because that is somewhat dependent on when that particular program started playing football. But winning percentage, how many times did you step on the field? How many times did you win the games? Now you could say we need to factor in strength of schedule, because some teams have easier schedules than others. All right, let's also consider that the winning percentage of the schedule is somewhat dependent, largely dependent on the strength of schedule for those particular teams. So that's not even a fair analysis. And also, this isn't going to be a 15-year project where I have to analyze every schedule of every team throughout the history of college football. So winning percentage, first and foremost criteria. At number two, we went to the AP rankings. Okay, are they flawed? Yes, they are. I rip on them every week during the college football season. Of course, they're flawed, but they're a strong indicator. You can't be number 5 in the country at the end of the season without being roughly the 5th best team in the country. Now, the flaw in the system is of course, you've got, let's say, 8-5 and 9-4 teams that finish the season ranked, and other 8-5 and 9-4 teams that finish unranked. Are they necessarily not as good? Not necessarily. There are also, when you stop the rankings at number 25, there are teams that finished 1-11. Should they be ranked? Of course not. But there are teams, again, that are 8-5, 9-4, and if you're just going by rankings, then they're not ranked, just like the 1-11 team. So the rankings are flawed. Yes, the 1 through 25 are flawed, and also the teams that are left out at times are flawed. Or there's just an indistinguishable quality between teams 20 through 35 that there's no way to rank them all. Okay. So it's another indicator. So you throw it into the formula. Next up, we go with bowl wins. Okay. Go to bowl games, win bowl games. Bowl games used to have much more weight in college football throughout the history of the game than they do now, of course, because of players opting out and so forth. We are also going to distinguish between major bowl wins and total bowl wins. Is there a flaw in that? Of course there is. There are sometimes better teams playing in the non-major bowl games, and some teams that sneak into major bowl games, let's say from the MAC and so forth, that aren't as worthy or as quality of an opponent. But over the course of the thousands of bowl games, of course, this is, again, a strong indicator of success of a program. Do you win bowl games, and do you win major bowl games? Yes, we can nitpick and go through college football history and find Outback Bowls and Citrus Bowls that were better bowl games involving better teams than Sugar Bowl games. Yes, it happens, but over the bulk of the mass of the bowl games, the major bowl games, we are counting stronger and more heavily than bowl games. And so we're going with the wins, major bowls, and total bowl wins. All right, also, this is a great one. It basically can't be manipulated and is basically objective. Conference championships. Now, the scheduling factors into conference championships at times because, unlike the Big 12 right now over the past 10 years or so, not everybody plays everybody in a conference. So conference championships are somewhat skewed. But if you win conference championships, you are decidedly the best team in the conference almost all the time. So conference championships are next objective, along with winning percentage. Winning percentage, conference championships can't be manipulated. All right. Next up, national championships. And if you watch us here at the Voice of College Football, you know that I'm a stickler for national championships. Why? Because they are highly subjective and flawed throughout the years. So no, I am not going with the AP national champions. And no, I am not going with claimed national championships. The schools run out and claim their own national championships. That is idiotic, of course. Also, keep in mind that there are other schools that could claim national championships and be completely reasonable in their claim for a national championship, and they didn't bother to do so. So what I have done is I've gone through the last 100 years of college football. Why 100 years? Because sometime in the 1920s, it starts to become legit. The first college football game was played in 1869. If you look over the first 15 to 20 years of college football, there's like 5 teams playing. Okay, we are not awarding national championships or going through the criteria of those particular teams. When one team's 3-0, then somebody else is 1-2-1, and somebody else is 2-1-1, and somebody's 0-3. No. Okay? We are not counting those national championships. Sometime in the 1920s, it's not a perfect year. You can't come up with a perfect time to start counting national championships. So is this somewhat flawed? Yes, it's not perfect. No perfect system, but when I put all these together, it's going to give us a strong indicator. So I'm going back 100 years. I went through every season of college football and analyzed the national championship. I took some away and I added some, and it's all very logical and can be substantiated and backed up and supported in every such way. So national championships are next. All right. NFL draft selections. So, Mark, who cares what they did in the NFL? Who cares what they were selected? Some people will argue that. Others will say this is very important to the prestige of a college football program. NFL draft selections. So we are counting NFL draft selections, not as heavily as the other categories, but we're counting NFL draft selections and also first-round NFL draft selections. That in no such way guarantees success at the next level, but it's a strong indicator. Most first-round selections are much higher quality of their NFL careers than second-round selections, third-round selections. It's a perfect curve in regards to the likelihood that a player is going to be successful at the next level. It's also a strong indicator of how successful they were as collegiate players. Of course, it measures potential, and NFL teams draft based on potential to a certain extent. But by and large, in mass, most of the best players get picked at the top of the draft as college players. Those were the top players. And then they also most likely are to succeed at the next level when they are drafted high. So we were counting total draft picks and first-round picks. Okay, next up, All-Americans. Flawed statistic? Yes, it's flawed, but it's a great indicator once again. Are most of the best players All-Americans? Yes. Are there situations like in 2015? My goodness, it was ridiculous how many great running backs were in college football. Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry. They couldn't all be All-Americans. They were all superstars, Hall of Fame caliber players in college football. Could they all be All-Americans? No. So it's not a perfect statistic again. And again, we have flawed writers who are subjective selecting All-Americans. But by and large, again, it's a great indicator. It's not going to factor in heavily in our system, but it is going to be taken into consideration and counted. Consensus All-Americans. Next up, Heisman trophies. I think it's the most prestigious award in American sport, but I also think, again, it's flawed. It's an offensive award that went to running backs when the running game ruled college football, and now it goes to the quarterbacks. The best player in college football might be a cornerback or an edge rusher or a left tackle. They're not going to win the Heisman Trophy. So that is flawed. That's why it's going to be a very small factor, but still a factor of prestige in our formula. And next up, major award winners. Okay, we went through the major awards of all the positions in college football. The Davey O'Brien, the Doak Walker, the Bednarik, the Biletnikoff, the Remington, the Outland, the Nagurski, the Lombardi, the Butkus, the Thorpe, the Guy, and the Groza. Yes, every position. And again, it's a subjective analysis there by sports writers in selecting those award winners. So we're not giving it a ton of weight, but we are giving some point totals to major award winners in college football. So there you have it. That's the formula. And now lock in here at the Voice of College Football as we start selecting conference by conference and breaking down the major programs in each conference. We are going to set you up with each conference and show you our all-time program rankings. And then, of course, our final analysis right here at the Voice of College Football. Please subscribe, hit that like button, and, of course, join us for our call-in shows and team live streams. Miami, Florida State, Ohio State, Michigan, Nebraska, Iowa, Oklahoma, West Virginia, and whoever we missed right here at the Voice of College Football. We'll see you next time. And all-time program rankings.